Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to you. Welcome to Wednesday's edition of the Full 100. It is Wednesday, the 16th of September. And yeah, brilliant day today. I loved it in the sun today. I was out for a bit today myself. Guys, a mixed show today. We're going to start with the UK. The new group of 6 gathering laws came in on Monday, which is when I last put a video out. However, I already had a title and a subject matter to deal with on that day. So this is the first opportunity that we have to decipher the UK's new dyslexic, I call them dyslexic lockdown or attempt at controlling the virus. So guys, without further ado, let's get to today's topic. Like I said, I want to start with the UK. You know the new laws that have just come in with gathering of 6 people. I personally think is diabolically stupid. You know, they got things like children are counted in England under 12. So that's 6, that number of 6. You got 4 adults and 2 children of 12, or less than, younger than 12. It counts at 6 in England. But when you go to Wales and Scotland, it doesn't count. And it's just so uncohesive. I mean, those of you who have watched my channel, you remember that when Corona started, I was very harsh on the UK. I eased off them because after Boris got sick, it looks like they did do what they needed to do. They woke up, basically. It took them forever. They're still waking up now. The tests are still not available. Now, I've seen people put things out like, don't get tested because you get tested and you got it. They're going to lock us down. Just stay home and cure yourself. That is so dangerous to say to people on social media. It's so dangerous to tell someone that something that's 5 times, that kills 5% of people who get it, that you shouldn't get yourself tested. If you feel the symptoms, just stay home. So, I mean, all of this confusion is really shocking, dangerous, and is killing, literally killing. The deaths are slowed down in the UK, yes, but it's now on the rise again. So obviously we have to be on it again. We have to watch what we're doing. Guys, today in the Evening Standard, they're talking about London is about to, they might consider putting London on a curfew. So like a nighttime curfew. Now, weekend curfew, I get it. You don't want people sneaking and having parties, but weekday curfew? What's that about? Guys, we're going to start focusing on the UK now because obviously the virus is coming back. It's on the rise. So whereas I eased off of it and America was the main problem and we focused on America and Brazil, if you remember, through June and July sort of thing, and Russia and India and all these places where the virus was rampant. And we've sort of drifted away from that. If you've been following my channel, and we've gone into the politics and the police brutality issue and stuff like that, because America's story just got boring. They just kept dying and dying and dying. Now, we're going to come back down to this issue and keep you guys informed, okay? So take a look at my first video regarding the rules. So for those of you who aren't fully versed on the rules, this is for you guys. So take a quick look.
Morning is that social gatherings of more than 6 people are now illegal in England as the coronavirus rule of 6 comes into force.
Similar rules are in place in Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland, with fines for those who refuse to comply. But there are key differences around the nations.
Let's take you through some of those this morning. In England and Scotland, the rule around social gatherings of 6 applies both indoors and outdoors.
But in Scotland, the 6 must be from 2 households only.
And in Wales, up to 30 people can still socialise outside. In Scotland and Wales, children under 12 and 11 aren't included, but they are in England.
Large gatherings are still allowed in, for example, gyms, places of worship and COVID-secure weddings and funerals. While in Northern Ireland, 6 people from 2 households can meet indoors and up to 15 people can gather outside.
Guys, there are shambles. The UK's rules, the whole approach is just a shambles. I mean, what I'm getting from it is You can go to work where there are 50 people, and your company, if they are not on it, they don't have to have done anything. No one's going to check in companies. Do you have a one-way route for staff? Have you sort of protected them within their desks? Have you done no one's going and checking on these companies. So it's okay to go to work and there are 50 people at work, Monday to Friday. If this curfew comes in after work, stay home. Then on the weekend, don't do nothing for yourself. 6 people only. Monday, oh, go on, get on the train. You can go back to work and help us out. To me, it just looks like get the economy back up. The people, we don't care what they feel about it. We don't care what rules. The rules we're going to fashion have to be geared towards the economy and the economy only. Guys, take a look at how this is mapping out, how it's panning out on the ground for mums and ordinary folk. Take a look.
My children can come here and play football with their friends, which obviously is larger than a group of 6. They go to clubs and swimming, again, larger groups of 6. But for instance, I couldn't have both sets of grandparents round for dinner because that would make us bigger than 6. But they could both come here and watch them play football. So slightly confusing in that sense.
Yeah, does it make sense?
So no, not really.
I mean, on the ground, it's more confusing in practice than it is in theory. Even as much as confusing as it is in theory, it's actually worse in practice. So the UK have got to get their act together. I mean, they're shutting down testing. So people are turning up to get tested, and there's no test. The government's telling them after you've done 100, that's it. This is the 6th, used to be the 5th. This is the 6th, 7th largest economy in the world. Surely we can do better than that. Okay, guys, I'm going to switch over a little bit now. I'm going to switch over to the United States. This guy, with all the chaos that's going on, this guy is still having party rallies, election party rallies. But he knows his base. He's already confused his base. He's already got them to think it's a hoax. So even when he turned for a day or two to say put masks on, they said, they're just making him say that. We know what you really think. You think masks are rubbish. We don't need masks. Let me ask you guys a question. Firstly, a question to those who stand up, who are fighting against masks or think masks are not necessary. Let's think back to the time of AIDS, when AIDS was rampant. Those of you are my age and a little bit younger, you will remember. Can you imagine somebody who was saying don't use condoms? Could you imagine social media sites, or not social media sites themselves, but platforms where people are putting on there about all this mask argument? Could you imagine anybody then who spoke up and said, you know what, condoms are not good for me. Condoms, they give me issues, and I'm not going to wear no condoms. I don't care. I think this is all a hoax. That guy would have been sent to a loony asylum, no doubt. But that's the same people are doing now about masks. So let me ask another question. Those of you who are putting on social media, don't get tested. For God's sake, stop getting tested. The more you lot get tested, the more they're going to lock us down. Could you imagine if somebody was saying, if you had an encounter, a sexual encounter, and you're worried, don't get tested. Don't worry, don't get tested, because ridiculous, right? Take a look at this video.
There's some people, they're just going to do what they're going to do, and God bless them. I just hope they don't get sick, and I hope they don't go home and give somebody else or their neighbors or whoever gives that virus. I'm not doing stuff like that. I wish they didn't.
194,000 dead Americans. Later, people are still crowded into that indoor rally.
Wolf, here's the thing. Had the President of the United States come out early and said, this is really a big problem. We've got to lock down. We've got to wash our hands. We've got to wear masks. We're going to search for a vaccine. We're going to do all of these things. We're going to make it out of there but we've got to take this seriously, and we have to do everything we can possibly do to protect one another, not just our families, but our neighbors. Think about the impact of what that would have.
Yeah.
It would have changed everything. But we are where we are.
And people are still waiting a long.
So Trump has already lost a fellow presidential runner. When he ran in 2016, there was 2 black guys who ran alongside him. One's in his government now, and one died at a rally that he had back in June or July. Herman Cain, okay, wealthy guy, owned I think a chain of burger places or chicken places, something like that. Really wealthy guy, ran for president, supports Trump, went to the rally, died 2 weeks after that. I want to know how many people have died from going to his rallies. In the middle of this guy is still holding rallies with no social distancing. The leader of the country. After he got exposed about lying to people, okay? It's pretty shocking, this behavior. It really, really is shocking. So you want to see the outcome of how America is seen in the world. Only in Trump's head does he think they're doing great. I brought you guys the video I brought you guys on Monday. After the expose, you heard him on Fox News, and they bring him on there to say these things because of their audience, the people that are listening to it. They don't follow the news, these people. Many of them can't read and write. Many of them have never left their town, their villages. Many of them have never left their states. So they watch Fox, and the president say, yeah, our numbers are really great. None of them ain't checking. That's what they hear, and that's what they hear. So the Fox TV channels are aiding and abetting this guy putting out false narratives, which is leading to further deaths. I called America a banana republic back in June or May, late May, June, on one of my videos. I was the first person to utter those words out of my mouth anywhere in the world, that America is a banana republic. Since then, not just have I heard many, including a general, said it a couple of weeks back. Not just that, other people have said it, but Trump himself has behaved completely like a banana republic president. So take a look at my last video of those of you who think you're onto something good following him. Look at the percentage of people in the real world outside the bubble and look at what they think. Take a look.
And China's Xi Jinping and Russia's Vladimir Putin. A Pew Research survey of people in 13 countries finds the reputation of the US has plummeted. CNN's Isa Suarez has details.
As more American lives are lost every day, President Trump continues to defend his handling of COVID-19.
I took tremendous steps and saved probably 2 or 2.5 million lives by doing what we did early.
Internationally, however, the world doesn't share his self-appraisal. According to a new report by the Pew Research Center of 13 nations, a median of just 15% of people believe the US has done a good job handling the crisis. Even China, where the pandemic began, received better reviews than the US. Pew, which polled over 13,000 people from early June to early August, also found that internationally, the view of the United States overall has plummeted. In some countries, it's never been lower. How about President Trump? How do these nations rate him? According to Pew, the median here, 16% of all nations surveyed have confidence in Trump to do the right thing in world affairs. And when compared to other leaders, well, the president doesn't stack up very well, behind Xi Jinping of China and Vladimir Putin of Russia. Chancellor Angela Merkel of Germany, who the president has criticized in the past, received the highest approval rating, with a median of 76% of those surveyed having confidence in her leadership. But with less than 50 days until the US election, President Trump's focus likely isn't on how he's perceived internationally. Rather, it's about rallying enough support inside America ahead of the November 3rd poll. Isa Suarez, CNN, London.
German Chancellor Angela Merkel has the highest level of trust. That's followed by the French President Emmanuel Macron. Then we have Boris Johnson of the UK somewhere in the middle. What's interesting, Vladimir Putin comes next, then Xi Jinping of China. The least trusted out of those 5 leaders is Donald J. Trump.
Guys, welcome back, and we're now at the end of the show. You know, I know a lot of you think he's the leader of the QAnon situation, he's there to save the world. Understand that you're living in a very small bubble. Outside of this bubble, people see things as clearly as daylight. Guys, end of the show now. I'm back in 2 days. I will put a video up Friday. Like I said, we're down to 3 days a week now, so I've got too much on my plate to do one daily. So I look forward to seeing you guys on the next edition. So thanks again for watching, and I hope it's been informative, and I look forward to seeing you guys on Friday. Take care. Bye-bye.